So I said, I'm going to keep training just in case something happens.
Stay ready. Stay ready.
Exactly.
You don't have to get ready. Well, just so you know, we are now recording. Peter McNeeley, the Hurricane. I've got to say, I've been looking forward to this for a while. I'm going to give a shout out to my Into Boxing colleague, Paul Humphreys, for setting this up as well, because he's done us a sterling here. Welcome to the show. Very, very excited to have you on. Hurricane Peter McNeeley, how you doing?
I can't complain too loudly today.
I've seen you bobbing and weaving there. You've still got the movements. Is he going this way? Is he going this way? Whereabouts are you, sir? Where are you in the world right now? You're in America? Whereabouts?
I'm still in the Boston area.
You're still in the Boston area. Okay.
Boston area my whole life.
I have a big world map on the wall just over there. So I'm trying to just quickly see where that is. That's on the east side. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You see?
They call Boston the hub of the universe.
Is that right? They say that about where I'm from as well.
Right.
Listen,
we're gonna love where we come from.
We've got a lot to speak about tonight. But you just said to us before we started, and I wasn't planning on bringing this up until probably 15, 20 minutes time. You alluded to the fact that you're training for potentially an exhibition. So you're staying fit, you're staying active.
Yeah, I am. I was like you know when the hype got big for the Tyson Jones. Like I always say, when Mike Tyson's doing good, it's a trickle down effect with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's always when he's doing good, it's good for me. And so I got called about doing an exhibition as well. And with the former heavyweight champ world Tony TNT Tucker, who won the distance with Tyson. But the show got canceled. I'm gonna say probably around middle of October. So I kept training. I'm still matter of fact, I was like 219 pounds a couple days ago.
Wow. And is that something?
An hour before Tyson, I was 220.
So is this something? If the exhibition against Tony Tucker or anybody else goes ahead, and because Mike Tyson has said he wants to keep doing them, is it something that you'd look to keep going and you maybe get a few of these wrapped up?
I would. But like every we all got a price.
Do you still have the same style? Do you still come straight out the blocks 100 miles an hour?
Do you think?
Something tells me that maybe you do.
I only know one way. Forward.
What was your opinion on Tyson Jones? I assume you watched it.
Yes, I did. I watched by myself, so I just watch it myself. You know, I think Roy fought to survive. Roy kind of stunk it out a little bit. He stunk it out a little bit. He fought to survive.
Is that what you anticipated? Did you think that would happen? Were you expecting that? Were you expecting maybe something different?
I really wasn't sure, but then after one round, then a real fighter knows after a round.
Yeah. You know? Well, listen, let's stay on Tyson for a minute.
It's definitely going the distance. Nobody's getting hurt.
Well, listen, let's stay on Tyson for a minute. What I don't want to do, Peter, is I don't just want to talk about Mike Tyson, because there is more to you than Mike Tyson. but we
Yeah.
have to speak about Mike Tyson. You know, we can't avoid that. So let's speak about Mike Tyson for a moment. I'm going to ask you the obvious question. Would you go for a second one, an exhibition with Mike, if the opportunity presented itself?
Without a doubt. There's no, yes, hell yes. But
yeah, okay.
Again,
I think
everybody's got a price.
Don't beat around the bush, Peter. Tell it as it is.
Tell me how I really feel.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, okay. So that is a fight that you would be interested in. You know, I'm assuming for someone like Mike Tyson, the list of names is round the block. But as you said yourself a moment ago, when Mike Tyson is in the news, Peter McNeeley does well. So your name is probably on a shortlist somewhere.
Quite possibly. No, but
Maybe.
But the simple fact is, you know, I'm doing great. I'm married. Love my wife, Anna Rita McNeeley. And I go to, when the COVID was, very like not as bad. I'm a regular at my local boxing gym. I was there. I've been going there for years, helping, giving back, something that was so freely given to me. But then I started training again. It was, then all of a sudden, but now it's gotten so bad that I'm not going. I'm not going there. I don't want to put myself or anybody else at risk. If why should I?
You're talking about COVID, obviously, not the boxing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the surge. See, it's winter here now. I mean, it's after Christmas, so we're like dead of winter now. January. It's cold and people are sick and people are passing germs, and it's really got to like social distancing. It's like social nothing right now.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. So when you get into the gym, when you get down there, is it can you stay fit and active? Like, are you physically, like your lungs and everything, they're okay?
Well, I was doing between 6 and 10 rounds a day. When I was at the gym.
Yeah.
5 days a week. Bang it out.
You I was doing some prep. I was doing some prep for this, and one of the interviews that I found that was really interesting. Because listen, I'll ask you about the Mike Tyson fight. Of course, I will. But I wanted to speak about some of the stuff that went on around it. I was reading an interesting piece with Sports Illustrated that's probably 10 years old, give or take, and you were saying that look, you've spoken with Mike a few times since, and I'm not going to say that you're good friends, but you get on with each other. There's a mutual respect.
No. Mike's a great guy. Mike's all respectful. I've talked to Mike twice in the last 25 years. We saw each other in '98 in Boston in a hotel. We hung out briefly, and then in '07 he got my phone number. We were talking here and there for like 3 months, but I mean, it's Mike Tyson. His number's probably got to get changed. Or, I mean, he's probably got 5 phones or 10 phones, 10 numbers. God bless him. You know what I mean? I can understand.
Just if you will take us back to that time around the time of the fight? You know, you've got the name, because you weren't due to fight him first, were you? Initially, you were set to fight a title against a different opponent.
Well, it was September of '94. I I had been with Don King for a few months, and Oliver McCall dragged King back into the heavyweight picture when he knocked out Lennox Lewis. So I was on a short list of names that were going to fight McCall next for the title. So it was kind of like a warm up for things that were to come, you know.
Mm-hmm. And
As far as the press and interviews, it was, like I came home to Medfield, and the streets were lined with cars and trucks at my mom's house. It's
yeah,
crazy.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Then the Tyson thing comes around. It was his first fight out of jail. Just talk to us. Just tell me a little bit how that first got put to you. Peter, we want you to fight Mike Tyson. Do you want the fight? Yes or no? Here's the contract. Whatever. How did that whole story unfold?
Well, see, that was that was talked about, even before Mike got out, but people really didn't know what was going to happen until Mike was out, um, and so, but it was talked about for months in the press here prior to, but then it finally became reality when we went out there and signed a contract, first for like May 10th, signed a contract to fight Mike Tyson. We met face to face on the stage, Big Don King Productions press conference. It was awesome. And Mike looked me right in the eye, shook my hand, and said, "Good luck." And you know what? I respected that.
Do you
He's
remember
a
the
good
first?
guy.
Do you remember the first time you met Mike?
That was the first time.
That was the first time. That was the
That
first
was
time.
the Yep.
And what was it like when you were stood next to him? You see the whites of each other's eyes. What was that like?
Hey, like you gotta
Because he
remember,
was a superstar name. He was a big name.
I got a late start boxing, so like when I started boxing, um, he was already a pro. Mike was already a pro, so I was watching him on TV when I was a senior in high school. I was playing high school football, American football, you know. Um, and then my first amateur fight in '87, I was still watching. You know, I was a Mike Tyson fan. You know,
Yeah. And
never,
then
never in a million years, never in a million years did I think I'd end up fighting him.
as we start getting closer to the fight, and these press conferences are happening, and poems are read out, and all the famous things that we know, what was it like inside your head as this is getting closer, and it's just the whole like journey to the ring is it's getting closer?
It was something I dreamed about my whole life. Having grew up seeing my dad's journey to fighting for the championship of the world. So
That's right.
I felt like this was something that was supposed to happen, and I just I rolled with it. I rolled with it, and I had a lot of fun doing it. When I was a little bit little and Larry King live, like.
Well,
I did commercials.
final.
I did commercials for America Online and Pizza Hut immediately after the fight.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And listen, my last pre-fight Mike Tyson question. One of my favorite clips, which is now a famous GIF, which is such as the times that we live in, and it's probably one of the most viewed online, is the clip of Mike Tyson.
His eyes stare back and forth.
When his eye, the one, when you're touching gloves in his eyes and you're doing this and he's just doing this. Do you remember seeing that at the time? Do you remember seeing that?
See, at the time, I was looking at his feet, at his feet. But then, I'm like, I slowly gazed as I'm listening to Mills Lane, But then I'm like, I'm only going on this merry-go-round once. I gotta look. I looked him right in the eye. Saw that stare, But the bell's got to ring, and that's what happens.
Yep. After the fight, when that finished, what happened? When you got back into your dressing room, the noise of the crowd begins to quieten down. What was that like? What was happening?
People were mad. People were mad because the fight was short. They felt it was short. But my manager knew me better than my manager was my trainer, and he knew me better than anybody. And he made a call. You know what I mean?
And you've since said that you agree with the call. At the time, no chance. But now you've had a bit of time to look back on it.
Listen. One thing's for sure. One thing is for sure. When you're hurt, Mike Tyson's on you like a shot, and like I was hurt. I was hurt. There's no. But hey, like Vinny McNeeley, here we are, over 25 years later, still talking about. Vinny said, Peter, trust me, it's better this way than if your face is down in the canvas.
Was he right?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay, let's put the Mike Tyson chapter aside now. We've covered that. It's a very well-known story. Let's talk about Peter McNeeley for a moment, post Tyson.
Sure.
Yeah. The weeks and months after that, when the initial hype starts calming down, and we know the world of sport moves on very quickly. The next fight comes along, the next whatever happens. Where did you go from there? What happened to your journey? Because I've read some things, but I want to hear it from you.
Hey, I went out there and I drank and drugged and acted like an asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I did that. And then I would train hard. When I trained, man, I trained hard, and I had fights out to Tyson, and like Tyson was my 38th fight. I had 54 pro fights, and what it was it didn't matter. It didn't matter. However big of a fight my next one was never going to be as big as that one.
Yeah, I suppose that's a fair point. Would that make it hard to get out? No, I don't want to say hard to get out of bed, but was that always in the back of your mind?
Well, and it's like like I said, I dreamed about this when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And it's like any story, any and every story has a beginning, a middle, and the end. And as far as Peter McNeeley's boxing story, then it ended.
But brother, it has not ended yet. It has not ended yet.
People didn't realize I had 16 more fights.
Yeah. You still got a lot to offer. You're still talking about exhibitions now, 25 years later. I don't want to hear you say
Here we are. Again, like anything could happen. Anything could happen.
Do you know?
you know,
I would genuinely like to see Peter McNeeley, Mike Tyson #2, because look at this. You're keeping on board. Listen, I can't listen. I'm not going to lie. I would not like to say how it would go because he looks in great shape. He looks in brilliant shape. But
yes,
listen,
awesome.
If we give the fans some excitement, as long as nobody gets really hurt, then listen, it's all go for me.
Hey, we go like this. Can you see me?
I can see you.
Coming at you.
Do you know what? I love it. I cannot lie. I don't have it in me. I love the enthusiasm for it. You are clearly still a man that just gets the joy from it.
Hey, a real fighter's always got one last shot left.
The power is the last thing to go. Remember that. The power is the last thing to go.
That's a good thing. That's always a good thing.
Listen, Peter, let me ask you. Let's move right the way up to current day. And I know that we've not really delved massively into your story, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on the current crop of fighters. Especially in that heavyweight division, your Anthony Joshua's, your Deontay Wilder's, Tyson Fury's, Dillian White's, all these guys at the top. Are you still keeping track of the sport? Are you still an avid fan?
Yes. There's another guy from Africa too, who's real tall.
Say that again.
The African kid who's real tall. Ogbe, no. Oh my God, what's his name?
I know who you mean, but I can't say his name. A Jacoby, a Jagbo.
The division, but that's the mystique of the heavyweight division. You know what I mean?
You're talking about a Jagba.
Well,
I think
like the mystique of the heavyweight division is just like when the guy beat Joshua, knocked him out. You know what I mean? That's the mystique of the heavyweight division.
And you could pretty much track that back. Listen, I'm a big fan of Andy Ruiz. I was a long time before he fought Anthony Joshua, a long time before he fought Joseph Parker even. But even in that Anthony Joshua fight, you can trace it back to where the game plan went wrong for AJ to one punch. I mean, it's the oldest cliche in boxing. One punch in the heavyweight division changes everything. You go back to when Andy Ruiz landed that shot on the temple of Anthony Joshua, the course of the fight changed. That's heavyweight boxing.
Yeah, exactly. That's a mystique of the heavyweight division.
So who are you ranking at the moment? What do you think when you see the likes of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua? In fact, let me ask you, how would you have done against those guys?
Wow, I'm not like that. Like I have my hands full of Mike Tyson. I don't even want to start thinking about what I'd have to go through with these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All I know is anytime a man enters that squared circle, they got their hands full. You know? You got your hands full. One-on-one, man, competition. But you know what? I'm really Fury's the man right now. But like Wilder, people who don't know the game or injuries sustained in the game. Like you saw the blood in Wilder's beard, and it was always he had his eardrum went.
Yeah.
His eardrum was gone, and I've had my eardrum perforated twice, and it sucks, and it takes forever to heal. But now his wasn't even perforated; his was punctured. When there's blood coming out, that's punctured. And, and that has to be surgically, dealt with. You got to deal with
What
it.
did you think of his claims of Deontay Wilder's claims that there was weights in the glove, that the hand was moving around in the glove?
Listen, it only takes 15 pounds of pressure. You slap somebody with no glove on in the ear, it takes 15 pounds of pressure. So it's not like unfortunately, it is a hazard that can happen to you in the ring.
Yeah, you're right. You are.
But whether it was done on purpose, by in the heat of battle or on purpose, I don't know. But
yeah,
it's right now. It's the first fight was a draw, and Fury's up one. So hey, but now it's what have you done for me lately? Next.
Are you, Peter? I'm going to ask an obvious question here. Well, you don't hear it. You don't hear this question in many boxing interviews. No, I don't think I've ever heard it in a boxing interview. But you seem like a happy man. You seem like a man that is comfortable where he is. You've got your fingerprint within the scripture of boxing history. You've got your health. You've got your wealth with your wife and your family. Are you a happy man?
Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I guess that's.
Hey, you know what? Best thing I ever did with myself was no alcohol, no drugs for over 4 years. I'm happy to. Hey, as I have my Pepsi.
Hey, listen, we're gonna have to charge them for sponsorship if you keep drinking. If you keep
too much Pepsi.
You can't go on Britney Spears on us now and start drinking Coke.
Britney Spears. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put a product placement on there now.
I got enough problems dealing with my wife, Anna Rita. So start getting other women involved.
Do you know what as well? Do you know what I will say before we let you go, Peter? I've seen that you've started putting merchandise online, and that is testament because you still have a name. And listen, this is not an advert. I'm not trying to plug it for you, although you're welcome to say it.
No, I appreciate you even bringing it up. But like I'm sitting here saying to myself, here we are over 25 years later. I should have done this 10 years ago. Or you know what I mean?
Do you know what? Maybe you should. Maybe you should. But the thing is that the fact that because I've seen your videos on Facebook, but you do get numbers on them, and that is because people are still interested in your story. People are still, they still want to talk to you. They still want to ask you about that fight and that cocoon, and they still want to ask you about the build up and everything that was involved. I love it. Listen, it's perfect. But listen, it says that you've got your own chapter in the history of the sport, and I would encourage anybody out there to go out and just check it out because it's not like a whole range of t-shirts that the likes of Floyd Mayweather and whatever else have, but you've got your own section, and I like that. Hey,
it was, thank you, and some of the stuff, Kurohara, Medfield, it's gonna sell.
Yeah.
We hope. But
Well,
hey, if it
listen,
doesn't, I got a couple extra cool sweatshirts and shirts.
everyone wins. Everyone wins. Listen, Peter, I'm gonna let you go, but on one condition. I need one promise from you.
Yes.
If the Tyson exhibition happens, we get first exclusive interview.
I wish I could say that. I wish I could promise you that. But
Just do this.
know this. You're in. You're in. But like when it gets to stuff like that, like it's like whoa, it comes at you in waves. It's way
Yeah,
worse than the fight. Worse than the fight itself.
I bet it is. I bet it is. Facing all those cameras and things. Listen, Hurricane Peter McNeeley. I said at the top of the show, I was really looking forward to having you on. It's not disappointed. I've loved
I
speaking with
really
you.
appreciate you having me on.
Well, listen, I'm sure we'll have you on again in the future. We'll stay in touch, and and good luck with the training. Good luck with the movements. Listen, we can do Zoom interviews. We can't do Zoom sparring. It doesn't work.
Right, okay. Don't work like that. Don't work like that.
Listen, Peter, it has been an absolute treat. I want to thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. God bless you. Keep punching, guys.